Chapter -3 Under Siege by Minnow. Sky and I raced in to see Frank and Ben. They were still playing time game, but they paused it as soon as they saw us. "Isla was here again," said Ben. "She brought the police," said Frank. "The police?" asked Sky. "Isla went off ahead," said Ben, his eyes wide, "and your mum really gave it to her." "Good," I said. Dad rushed in. "Edie just phoned from work. Are you two all right?" "We're under siege," said Frank. "Nothing new there," said Sky. "I've felt under siege ever since Dad died. But I feel safe here. I haven't felt like that for ages." "You are safe," said Dad. "Thank you," said Sky. "But I wish Edie hadn't gone to work. You boys might have been in danger. She should have been here." "Nah," said Frank. "We told her we'd retreat to the tower if they came back." "Why are the thieves involving the police?" I asked. "Who knows, but I'm going to double check the doors," said Dad, "and I think I'll lock the front gate." After Dad had gone, I told the boys that we'd met our new sports teacher. "Oh no," said Frank, "he'll tell Isla we weren't sick." "I don't think so," I said. "Why wouldn't he?" asked Ben. "He knows Decca, and he'd been out surfing," I said. "Aren't surfers meant to be trustworthy?" "He was out surfing," asked Frank, "on a school day. The great eye will kill him." We all laughed. "He doesn't start until next week," I said, "but he's rented the Sunday school. We don't want him that close, do we? What if Isla visits him?" Frank stopped playing. "Here? No way. What if he's one of Isla's spies?" "Dad's invited him for breakfast tomorrow." Frank started playing again, but he didn't look happy. "He's called Professor Blizzard," said Sky. Frank lifted up his controller, tapping it wildly to avoid a pack of Desgul. "Professor Blizzard," said Ben. "Mean name for a sports teacher." "He seems okay," I said. "The only trouble is he can see Six and Jem." "See them?" asked Ben, looking worried. "Yeah, but he was cool about it," I said. "He said he can see things when there's magic about," said Sky. Frank pulled a face. "Magic? What does he mean?" "Well, selves usually don't splinter off and get wings," said Sky. Ben looked even more worried. "He didn't say anything to your dad?" "No," I said. "I think he's okay." "We'd better hope he is," said Frank, "although let's keep some distance." We all nodded. Changing the subject, I asked, "Where is Six and Jem?" "Resting on your bed," said Sky. "I hope that's okay. All that flying over the ocean wore them out." "Poor little things. They deserve a rest." "No need. No rest for you, though," said Frank, handing Sky a controller. "You need a few lessons." Frank split the screen into 4 sections and showed Sky how to get started. "Don't forget, lots of the graveyards are booby-trapped, and they glow blue just before they go off. Also, the fully blue tunnels have landmines, so steer clear of them. And if you want to make some of the corpses fall out of their graves and into the river, you just have to build up extra points," I added. "It's so good." "The pirate's grave is the best," said Frank. "We've made him really angry when he gets tipped out." I nodded. "He's wild." "You can get extra years of life by playing the main pinball machine," said Frank. "It's called the Time Game," I said, "and you can't miss it. It's the big one in the pinball parlour." "We made the pinball parlour in honour of an old movie about a pinball wizard," said Frank. "My dad loves it." "Mine too," I said. Sky laughed. "We love pinball. Have you played for real?" "Of course," said Frank. "Dad has had one since he was about 12. I grew up on it. Ours is the creature from the Black Lagoon." "We put a creature into our time game," I added, "and it captures Isla and Filthy when you win. It takes them to its lair," said Frank. "Excellent," said Ben, grinning as his character ran along a tunnel. He and Frank cleared the way for Sky. "There are merpeople in the underground rivers," I said, "so be careful. Some are ghosts who've fallen out of their graves and into the river. They're mostly friendly, but some are rogue Franksterians." "Franksterians?" asked Sky. "They're named after the Frankster," said Frank, totally engrossed in the game. They're just mer people, I whispered. Excellent, said Sky. I love mer people. Hey, I said, did you guys find out anything more about the characters we labelled Bo and Saw? Hold on, said Frank, pulling a face as his on-screen character swerved to miss a ghoul. Pause it, I said. Frank groaned while the game stood still. 2 Dezgul were frozen on the screen, their tongues ready to whip the Frankster. Hurry up, I'm on a roll. The kids we labelled Bo and Saw, did you find out anything more about them in the game's records? Yeah, and it was sort of weird, said Frank. There's something in the game's log about Saw needing to know about dragons. Dragons? Asked Sky. We set up the logic ages ago, said Frank. Each character has things they need to know. They might have enemies or they're going to get a pet, so the logic makes sure they learn the right skills. We can't remember everything for all the characters, but for whatever reason, Saw needs to know about dragons. I frowned, thinking. Should I get Grandfather's book? I asked. Frank started the game up again, flicking his controller to avoid the Dezgul's attack. It's the character who needs to know, said Frank, not Sky. I shrugged. Doesn't hurt for Sky to read about dragons. What for? Asked Frank. You think dragons are coming? I rolled my eyes. Isla's a dragon, I said. Ben laughed. The dragon of Moron. No, she's not allowed to be a dragon, said Sky. I love dragons. Frank smiled. Me too. I went to my parents' study to find Grandfather's book. He'd put golden lettering and 2 dragon heads on its spine. Binding books was one of his many hobbies. When I returned, Sky hugged the book. So beautiful, she said. It'll take me all night to finish. Don't you want to keep playing? Asked Frank. Not if I can read about dragons, said Sky. I'll take over your character, I said. I can probably get her further advanced anyway. Sky gave me her controller, and before long she was lost in the magical world of dragons. At dinner there was much discussion about Isla and the police, and then the new sports teacher, who was a professor of astrophysics. Mum decided that he must be trustworthy because he was one of Decca's friends, and we all trusted Decca. Sky and I couldn't stop talking about the surf on Tiger Snake. Dad said he'd take us again as soon as the wind was right. Finally, after a long evening of food and talking, more time again game, and some wishes on the wishing chair, we all decided to sleep in my room, to be well away from the front door.